A lot has happened since I last talked to you yesterday at Three Forks. The last clip I think you seen was me jumping on to the AT finally. So I breezed through that section to Hawk Mountain Shelter. I did it in like just a little bit of time. I was to the shelter by 5. And there were like 6 people there when I got there. They already had a fire going. And from best I can tell, it was 2 separate families. So one dad with a son that was obviously over 21 because he was talking about going to liquor stores. And then one dad with 2 sons who looked like they were probably 14 and 12 or somewhere in that age range. And so the dad with the sons had the fire belt for his sons, and I feel kind of bad because I hung out without contributing to helping getting firewood and stuff, but it was already going good by the time I got there. They had a big pile of wood. So anyways, I was kind of battening down the hatches for the night. After I talked to Hunter yesterday, he said there was supposed to be some snow rolling in overnight and in the morning, and so I was kind of nervous about staying in the tent with that predicted much snowfall coming. But it kind of flurried and sleeted off and on all night. Apparently it got super cold because I could actually start feeling the chill creeping through the loft on my sleeping bag. And I sleep in a 20-degree sleeping bag most all times of the year. Rarely get cold, but for whatever reason, it started happening. It wasn't to a point that it was like dangerous or anything, but I was getting chilled. So I just took this big heavy North Face and put it over the chilled spot, and it went right away and warmed up. And then a little while later, my feet were cold, so same thing, put it over my feet, it warmed up. And then this morning, the outside temperature felt like it had warmed up. It may have just been my body heat being warmer, but while I was packing up camp, it started snowing. So as you can see, it is still coming down now. And it's getting more white and more white. So it's gonna be an interesting day. Hunter is actually on his way. He texted me this morning and asked me how many miles I need to get to my car, which, by the way, is 23. And so I was already trying to make up my mind what I was gonna do because I don't want to down climb Blood Mountain in the snow in the dark. And my headlamp only has 1 bar left of battery, so potentially a dead battery as well. So he was like, hey, I'll come meet you and bring you some batteries, and then I'll hike with you the rest of the way to your car, even if we have to do it in the dark. So I'm super pumped about that. You know, it's always good to have company on the trail, especially when you've been hiking for a few days and not talking to anyone. So right now I'm just trying to make miles to meet him. Currently I am on the ridge above the ranger camp. It's down there. Can't see it because it's snow clouds everywhere, and the snow's just coming down and coming down and coming down. But I don't know, I'll update you guys in a little bit. I'm going to just keep hiking. Right now I'm shooting for Cooper's Gap. I'm about 3 miles from there, and Hunter is either going to meet me at Cooper Gap or Gooch Gap. He said he was going to Gooch Gap, and if I wasn't there yet, he would just start hiking backwards towards me. But I didn't end up start walking out of camp until later than what I told him. So he may just go to Cooper Gap now and then just hike with me from Cooper Gap. So gonna be a long day, 23 miles, but we're gonna rock and roll. You know, I've always wanted to do this, hike in the snow, and finally was on trail for a snow event. Even if it's not much, it's still snow, still cold, still challenging. So I'm gonna try to bring you guys along as much as I can, as much as I remember, as much as I feel like taking my gloves off and having my hands freeze while I record. So I'll catch up with you guys in a little while. So it seems as if the snow clouds are trying to part a little. You can kind of see the sun hitting out through the mountains. I think I am on Sassafras Mountain. I'm not sure. I just climbed up out of Horse Gap, northbound on the AT. This is the view seen from a couple weeks ago, overlooking Camp Merrill. This is the Army Ranger camp that I've been talking about for a few days. I've been pounding out the miles pretty quick. I don't know how quick. I know that we made it past Cooper's. Now we're headed down towards Big Creek between Cooper's Gap and Gooch Gap. Should be meeting Hunter somewhere in just a little bit. I think it's like a 4.5 mile section, so we'll probably end up meeting somewhere around Big Creek. So sun came out, still cold, but I went ahead, took the big jacket off, put the gloves away, and I'm just dealing with the cold right now because I know I'm gonna want that jacket and stuff later, so I don't want it to be too wet from hiking in it when I don't really need to. But this section I can gain a lot of miles on. My left knee is screaming right now. Already took some ibuprofen, swapped the knee brace over to the left side. This is the one that usually bothers me, and it's finally rearing its head. So I imagine by the end of the day, it's gonna be screaming. Excuse me, it's gonna be screaming real well. So catch up with you guys in a little bit. Met up with Hunter earlier, a little while back, before Gooch Gap, and stopped at Gooch Gap Shelter, had lunch, and then we've been hiking together. We are now at Ramrock Mountain. This is the mountain that I stayed at back in early December when I tried to do this loop the first time. I stayed here on night 1, and it's pretty cool because this time of the year you get a sunset, and then in the morning you get a sunrise. This is also where you can look out, not really see anything, but then at nighttime it comes alive and you can see the entire city lit up and all the cabins and stuff. It's really pretty crazy. And I'm thankful to be standing here in the sun where it's warm, because this morning I did not expect to be hiking in weather like this. So still got a pretty long day ahead of us. Definitely going to be hiking into the dark. We probably will be crossing Woody Gap, maybe up around Preacher's Rock about the time the sun sets. And then it'll be a pretty long, probably 4 or 5 hour walk in the dark to make it to my car tonight. But that's what Hunter came for, and we're committed now. So forward we go. There it is, or what you can see of it, the Duncan Ridge Trail that I showed you guys like 4 days ago. I've now officially completed the Georgia Loop. Been hiking in the dark since 6 o'clock again. And we still got to summit Blood and then down hike it before we get to the car. So we've still got about, I guess, probably right at 2.5 miles. So everything up here is frozen, snow on the ground. Not too bad yet, but we'll see what the down climb's like. It is now currently 1 a.m. We finally descended off of Blood into the parking lot to my car at 11:40. get to my car. The car's dead, won't crank. Hook my jumper cables up, touch them together, absolutely no power. So, of course, you know, being midnight, there's a couple cars in the parking lot, nobody in them. So Hunter and I go out to the main road, 129 there, Blood. We're trying to flag down cars. Nobody would ever stop. Finally, this lady stops. She was on her way home from work. She had been working all day and coming at Cracker Barrel. And her son was following behind her for whatever reason, so they pulled in, jumped us off. Then I took Hunter back to his car at Gooch Gap, and I am now on Highway 60, headed home. It'll probably be about 3 a.m. before I get home all the way back to Jasper. Probably gonna find me somewhere to stop, grab some food and a Coke or a tea or something. But that's the end of it for this trip. Stay tuned. Maybe a week or two out, I'm gonna put out a video going over kind of my whole thoughts and ideas about the whole Georgia Loop experience. I just need a little bit of time to gather everything, gather all my thoughts and such, so stay tuned for that as well.